Hello, hello, my green skin. And hi. Welcome to another horrible day to have a curse. Welcome to another horrible morning with your horror head, your genetic freak of geek, war chief. We are having fun with Diablo 2 today. Yes, we are. We're going to be having a lot of fun today, hopefully. And when we get enough people in, we're going to have a couple of the big one's going to be an interesting one, is I really do want to hear what people's thoughts are on the failure of M3gan 2.0. I mean, this was a movie that went from $1 million to $1 million to nothing. Absolutely, it bombed, and that's a pretty interesting bomb, in my opinion, personally. To bomb, I'm like, wow, this blew up to a failure, absolute failure, and that's a pretty interesting thing to have happen for a movie that at one time they were trying to make the next Terminator. Like, you got that Terminator vibe. Now, there's some interesting controversy. We'll talk about the controversy behind the apparent bombing of M3gan 2. And, yeah, that's going to be fun on my end. That's me trying not to be banned off YouTube. Oh, we are not sure here. We are a little afraid, Zawies. This may not go well. I am very, very, very nervous to do that, because that's going to be an interesting thing. As before, we restarted to beat the good old thing. Yes, confetti money. Yeah, well, hey, you know what, Mike? You're not 100% wrong there. It turns out it was confetti money, apparently. I mean, M3gan 1 was an interesting horror take. That it's not like we haven't seen it before. I mean, horror movies, you know, a slasher movie with that, you know, thriller type aspect to it. I mean, oh, what's the name of it now? The one with the roommate, I think it was called? Or was that the title? Was that the side title drop? Okay, was that the name that it was known for, or was that the name that it actually was? I wouldn't 100% know. I think it was called Roommates, where the girl basically falls hopelessly in love with her roommate, and it becomes this weird sexual obsession with the roommate. And the roommate actually starts she starts dressing like the roommate, starts looking like the roommate. She murders her boyfriend, I think, or she fucks her boyfriend. Like, she pretends to be her and fucks her boyfriend. It's a pretty crazy horror movie. I don't know if you consider it horror or thriller. Well, you know what? They're the same genre. I'm going to put it in that horror aspect. I mean, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle is another good example. You could say that was a movie that was very similar to what we're looking at now. So there's been a library for horror movies like M3gan forever. And so for me, I'm like, okay, we have ourselves a decent horror. So M3gan should have been a no-brainer. This fucker should have made so much money at that point. And I was rather surprised by the flop. I'm still kind of surprised that this movie just died. It died on the vine, man. Not a horror movie. Oh, so you've seen Roommates.
I sent a soul in search of answers.
Okay, he's actually seen Roommates. I'm actually surprised that you've seen Roommates. or you're making a joke. So the first M3gan movie, for those who haven't watched it, it's about a little girl who loses her parents in a violent, horrible way. More like a horrible movie. Well, you know what? It's actually a good psychological thriller. I actually think it's disturbing. I think it's creepy. It brought an actress that, at the time, was relatively unknown to a big name. I mean, another movie that did that kind of thriller was Crush. And Crush was, teenage girl wants to hook up. Another horror movie that's like this, that's like M3gan, would be Orphan. And Orphan's all kinds of creepy in some ways, but that's part of the horror mentality. When you do horror movies, you kind of, it's meant to be uncomfortable. Oh, you're building your Lando deck. Oh, we'll have to have a look at that Lando deck. Are you building the Lando deck I suggested? Because I suggested a Lando deck a while back. So anyway, it's not uncommon. Orphan like the anime. No, Orphan like the anime is actually pretty badass. Orphan is about I think that didn't that movie had a sequel? It's been a while. I'm not a huge horror head. I love the horror genre, but I'm not that big of a guy. Okay, let's get rid of that problem. And Holy Bolt. I command you to die by the ages of power. Okay, there we go.
I have no...
Another staff of firebolt. And a mace. Holy crap. We are getting gear. This game is giving me gear today. I'm actually getting enough gear to actually do stuff, which is kind of fun. Yeah, no, I don't know, like I said, but M3gan was an interesting thing that a lot of people, PG horror, everyone was like, oh god, because PG horror is usually frowned upon in the horror genre. But it was decent enough that you could say that M3gan was okay enough that you could actually be like, okay, this isn't awful. It's not great, but it's not awful. So we had ourselves a horror movie that was okay. And it didn't piss off the fans enough.
I have no room.
So, what's the first thing M3gan... So, M3gan 2, what's the first thing M3gan 2 is coming up with? Well, M3gan 2 was coming up with the idea... Oh, okay. I'll have to bring it by this week. If you bring it by this week, I'll play it with you. If you want to play a game, I wouldn't mind playing again. I can always come up later. I'm not doing anything today until like 9. So M3gan was an idea that was this little girl loses her parents, and now she's alone. So she gets stuck with her aunt. Now her aunt is, I hate children. She has does not like women. Does not like women. Does not like children. Oh, who knows? Maybe she hates women too. I'm not gonna throw shade if you don't like women. It's not uncommon for women not to like women. Looks left, look right. Fucking prove me wrong.
Hello, my
I have met a lot of girls.
while
I hate
and
that
listen.
bitch. I'm like, why? She didn't do anything to you. Oh, she's just a bitch. Like, how is she a bitch? Tell me why you think she's a That seems to be a me problem, though, than anything else. I run into a lot of girls who are like that, though. Oh, right, we got a lot of awesome staffs. So,
Whoa, what can I do for you?
we have ourselves a character that is an interesting villain character, because she starts off as this AI girl that's trying to reach to this traumatized little girl. So, it's an interesting programming. Now, at first, for me, that seems quite unique, quite different. You have yourself an interesting character, an interesting villain,
I
and
sense a soul
I'm
in
very
search of answers.
surprised that like it wasn't horrible. Like it wasn't like something where I was like, oh god, this is going to be the worst
I sense
movie
a
I've ever
soul
seen.
in search of answers.
I'm gonna hate this. This was solid. It was a solid enough movie that it even caught my eye. And usually when I see a horror movie like this, I usually turn my nose up to PG horrors. Like I am one of those guys that says a PG horror is a PG horror. I don't care. So it was stupid, it was campy, and it was just that right level of fun. What you want in a horror movie is that right level of fun. Now that comes into a problem when you got yourself this right level of camp. Like you could show this movie to an adult. You could show this movie like it was enough that a PG-13 would work. Then we get to M3gan 2. What's the first thing they do with M3gan 2? They start the promotion as incorporating the character with a certain group. And she's getting announcements for out. I'm your slasher girl boss mentality with M3gan. I'm like, no, that's not how you do this character. And the promotions were catering to a group of people. In a lot of ways, it felt like it was catering to people that aren't horror fans. Well, the people who watched your movie were fucking horror fans. You want to get their attention. You want to get their thought process. You want to get them thinking this is a movie worth grabbing. You want to get their enjoyment of this. And so, like most horror movie guys, you start... See, the trick with horror is, yes, you can put your thought process. You can put your political value into horror, at least in my personal opinion. You can put your fun. You could put your thoughts into a horror movie. It's actually one of the few arenas you can get away with that. But you gotta be... You can't just ram it down someone's throat. You gotta have an air of subtlety. Even if the subtlety inevitably hits you off over the fucking head. You have to have that energy of like, okay, A to B to C to D. You gotta kind of follow that energy. And it did, and I was talking to a friend of mine who's a horror guy, and he said the reason I have no interest in watching M3gan 2.0 is simple. I don't feel like this appeals to me at all as a horror fan. And that's a bad sign. That's not good. That is not a good sign. When you have a movie like this, you don't want your horror fans going, well, this doesn't appeal to me. You know, it's very similar to, you know, the idea of Jaguar is a good example. Like, I hate to say it, there's a great trend. Like, if you look at Jaguar, what's the new Jaguar dildo machines? Yeah, I hope that doesn't get me banned. No, wait. I'm a couple minutes in. I should be fine. I don't think there's any YouTube aggravators looking at me going freaking out. No, but if you look at the Jaguar, what does a Jaguar look like? What do the new Jaguars look like? They look awful. They don't look like top of the line sports cars. They look like, you know, a gayer version of Elon Musk's fucking Teslas. That's what they look like. And I'm just being honest. And to us, we're like, well, we don't want, you know, your average car guy doesn't want that. Like, I would even go, like, I got a friend of mine who's got a Jag, and he's, you know, of a certain group. He doesn't want that. He wants that muscle car. He wants a status when he's driving his Jaguar. That's a fucking status symbol. That is to say, hey, motherfucker, that's big energy looking at you right now. That's, you know, and like, it's the same thing with a Ferrari, you know? Well, horror movies have more political biases than any other genre, to be honest. They play by their They play very strongly to their political biases, actually. Horror movies have been that for years. There's always had there has been skews of horror movies over the years. You know, a good example of this is the George Romero. Although, you know, he said he never did it as that, but I've heard talks where he said he didn't. But I'm like, no, you know, that type of mentality can work in a horror movie if done correctly. The problem is you don't want to do that. Same with the Jaguar. Like the new Jaguars is catering to nobody at that point, because the people who want to be aren't going to want these, and the people who would that they're trying to cater to don't want it either, because they want an awesome Jag. They come for the status symbol. They don't go for the Jag. You know, that's kind of my vibe with this. So that's my first thought process with M3gan. Like the attitude that they didn't fit. Now the second big problem with this, and this is again the second big issue is. Oh, it's the Jaguar is in such dire straits. People are selling their cars in mass. It is very, 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 very funny how much the Jaguar is falling off the system. Like, the Jaguar is basically dying at this point. Like, to the point that apparently people are selling their Jags because they don't want the new Jaguar, so they're not going to bother keeping the old one. So it's slowly destroying itself. Like, this company may not exist in 20 years if this keeps up. We'll see. Like I said, Anheuser-Busch was able to pull this away, which is fine. Again, I don't even see that as an issue. What I see with that with that part of the stuff. Now let's get to the other reason that M3gan kind of looks like it's going to fall apart. They turned it in. They're trying to turn it into she's a anti-hero slash. Oh, that's not even worth money. Oh, gross, grody with mustard. So the other big problem with M3gan.
Whoa, what can I do for you?
Is that there was a huge. It's this idea of turning her into a good guy or an anti-hero. I don't know if that would have worked right away. I think if they had gone into M3gan 3 or 4, maybe. Turning her into the Terminator-like vibe is, from what I've seen and from what I've seen from reviews and people talking about it,
I sense a soul
really
in
doesn't
search of answers.
sound like a good thing. Like, it makes me really scared for the Toxic Avenger. Like, I'm not a big fan of Peter Dinklage, so I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna buy Toxic Avenger when it comes out. As far as I'm concerned, I have no interest in his movies. I was never a Game of Thrones fan, fight me. I hate Game of Thrones. I think Game of Thrones is lame. I always thought Game of Thrones was lame. I think it was fantasy for non-fantasy would be the best way to put it. It was for that. It was a soap opera. To me, Game of Thrones was a soap opera. It was a fantasy soap opera. And I had no interest in it. And I've never liked Game of Thrones. I don't mind the writer of Game of Thrones. I think he's a good guy. I think he's kind of fun. And I think that's kind of amusing. But I've never been a fan of his work in that way. Like, he does good work. Don't kid me wrong. When you give him a good story, he can do a good story. But I like to make the joke about it. Like, to me, Game of Thrones was this: penis next to another penis, penis flopping softly, penis there, penis here, penis next to another penis. I'm like, that's kind of how I feel when it comes to Game of Thrones. It's games of scrotum, in my opinion, personally, and that's me trolling I never did like Game of Thrones. I tried watching series. I tried getting into it, and everyone's like, "It's so good." And I thought about it. The more I think about it, because I've actually thought about it now, and actually, it sucks. I'm sorry. Game of Thrones compared to anime, give me Shangri-La Frontier. Give me anime any day of the week. Give me some anime that's out there. Any day of the week, they do fantasy better. Sorry, not sorry. That's my thought process when it comes to anime. And when it comes to Game of Thrones. Honestly, I wouldn't mind the Diablo TV show. That actually would be kind of an interesting idea if you were to do a Diablo TV show. That could actually be kind of fun. But, I don't know. For me, it's up there. It's like on that list. Hello. Hello, good sir. How are you doing today there, Games of Past? We're doing good. We're playing our horrible mornings. We're playing Diablo, and we are talking about the bomb that is M3gan 2.0. And how this could have worked. And as a horror fan, and I am becoming a horror. I'm the genetic freak of geek. We were talking about how I don't like Game of Thrones was where I left off. How I think Game of Thrones kind of sucks. Okay, so back to the fun of Game of Thrones. So I got a funny tale about Game of Thrones. I might as well tell the Game of Thrones penis story. I have told this many times in chat, and I hope people don't mind this conversation. So I got a buddy of mine that I used to go to the sauna and we'd go swimming. I actually want to go back to. I miss going back to the swimming pools and going swimming. I love swimming. Like I could be in the water all day. It's to the point where I can't. I get motion sickness after I'm out of the water for so long. I've been in the water for so long. I still feel the bobbing and weaving of my body hours after the fact. Like I can be there all day. So what I'll do is I'd go swim in the pool for a couple hours, sit in the sauna, sit in the hot tub, then go swim for another hour. I love swimming. It's one of my favorite things to do in life. As long as it's not ocean swimming. I've seen Jaws. Fuck that shit. It's not lake swimming. I've seen Piranha. Fuck that shit. So me and my buddy were talking about South Park, because me and a friend of mine, huge South Park guy, every time a new episode would come out, we would talk about the new South Park. By the way, I'm going to restart South Park eventually. I might be having a buddy come over every couple days. We'll watch South Park. We are in King Leoric's tomb, boys. Let's see what we get here. You're going to get an anno. Oh, sorry about that. 1 second here. So let me boot that. Okay. Oh, okay, cool. Well, congratulations. But so for me, Game of Thrones really had no interest, but South Park is my jam. I love South Park. Okay, let's get that energy going. So, here me and my buddy are talking about the new South Park, and at the time, the new South Park was the Game of Thrones season they did before the Stick of Truth. Which, if you haven't played the Stick of Truth, I think it's one of the better action games out there. Definitely worth a watch. Definitely worth a playthrough if you want to have fun. So here I am. Yeah, it's great. The South Park is amazing. So here me and my buddy we're talking about South Park, and we start making a joke because we have the echo at the local pool, and there's usually no one around. It's just me, him, early morning. We go first thing in the morning, and we go swimming because we don't want to get trapped with the kids. Like, because the kids clubs show up around a certain point, and we're like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that, and he doesn't want to deal with that. So we're kind of making jokes, and we're having fun, and we're having a good laugh. We're joking about the echo in the place, you know, being grown, being idiots, basically. We're being man children, okay? We're not gonna lie. We're being a little bit of the man kids.
Where would I put this?
We're having our man kid moment. You know, men do this every once in a while. So we start singing the penis song. And we're like, penis, next, you know, penis, 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 penis. We start singing the, you know, da-da, penis, 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 penis. And out of nowhere, in the shower, we hear someone else singing in a huge baritone voice. Out of nowhere, as we're singing the penis song from South Park. Penis next to another penis. And so this guy starts singing this song in a deep fucking baritone voice, and you can hear it. It's echoing. So I can only imagine what the staff's thinking, because people are singing a penis song in a goddamn in the fucking spa, in the shower area. There is 3 grown men singing the penis song from South Park. And it was a deep baritone voice. Like, this guy was, you could hear like this huge baritone. It's like, and it was so funny, because in my mind, I'm like, oh my god, who the fuck is this guy singing this song, first of all? That's crazy. And secondly, what the hell? So we were just laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing, and we just couldn't stop. Like, it just, at that point, it just became this breakout of laugh. We sung it for a while. Oh, it was hysterical. It was hysterical. We had turned it. I can only imagine what someone would be thinking. Like, here you are, you're going in to go have a soak, go have a shower after your swim, and out of nowhere, there is penis next to another.
I sense
And the
a
whole
soul
thing,
in
like,
search
it was
of
just this
answers.
weird cohesion of men having such a laugh. And I don't know, man. Like, life can be stranger than fiction. Life can truly be stranger than fiction. And it was fun. It's one of the funnier. I haven't had moments like that in my life where I just thought to myself, you know, just life, man. Life can surprise you. It was one of the more funner moments. Shit, no scrolls. Alright, let's sell this. Okay, I am going to save my character because he's doing really good. So, that's my big Game of Thrones story. If you want more penis-adjacent jokes and stories about joking about certain weird things that happen to them in bath and spas, support Orc War Chief Reviews. Remember, we do have a fan base. We do have a group of creators that we are part of. A retro group. If you want to see them, the links are in the description. And my biggest thing with the Megan stuff is I'm very interested in a guy by the name of Boots to Reboots. I might put him in later. I don't have permission to put him in my thing. I'd have to ask him if it's okay. He's a bigger horror guy than I am when it comes to horror stuff. So this is just a fun little story from my past. I think I've talked about it more than once. It's hit more than one stream. Pretty certain there. But this to me made me laugh in a lot of ways. That this was a great, you know, that's my only take from Game of Thrones that I've ever had with Game of Thrones. You know, the dragons are coming. I will always never forget that. Or the pizza's coming. What type of pizza do you want? I just remember that one too. Like, okay, buddy, like you haven't gotten the pizza yet. What the fuck? Let's see, Leoric. Come out, Leoric. come and play. Where are you? Where are you? There you are. There you are. Oh, let's get your skeletons out of the way, though, first. Come on, Leorc. Come say hi. Oh, life has entered your tomb, has it? Well, life just entered your tomb and kicked your
I'll
ass.
find your son.
Damn! He went down faster than the butcher went down. Went down like a bitch. Well, yeah, I know the vending machine one. Well, at least we don't have the creepy one with the girl with the doorknob. The girl who's a doorknob. I don't know what else to think about that one. Or the girl who's a microwave. Anime's weird. Anime's weird. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah, so that's kind of how I look at the idea that is the Game of Thrones, and wasn't a big fan. Though, in South Park made Game of Thrones actually funny for me.
I do not have a spell ready.
Okay. Wow. There we go. So back to M3gan. So, M3gan, to me, M3gan is, the big thing was, you got yourself a media that, you know, no one, you got people who don't like M3gan, that are now feeling like you got a horror group that kind of feel like M3gan isn't for them. And that's a really bad sign. You do not want horror heads thinking to themselves, well, I'm just not going to care. Then you got a horror character like M3gan, who everyone was hoping for another slasher flick. Now they're turning her into the Terminator, like Terminator 2. You know, M3gan is Terminator 2. I'm like, well, no one wants that for M3gan right now. Maybe later you could have done that with M3gan. That's my other really big talking point on that one, is that I think you could have shifted M3gan and made it more of a horror, like given him maybe M3gan 3 or 4. Or I would honestly say, don't make her a horror. Don't make her an anti-hero if you're going to go that route. Back out. I don't know. That's kind of up in the air for me on this one. So I am going to watch M3gan. I'm not going to be a hypocrite here. This is something I'm going to watch. I'm just waiting to see if I can get a copy of M3gan that's, you know, out. Let's see here. Should I put the Undead Crown on? Garbage. Let's sell it.
What can I do for
Let's sell the unique items. There we go.
Whoa, what can I do
Let's see
for
what
you?
he's got for premium. Ring Mallow. Oh. The armor. I got better armor. And nothing. No. So that's my other big problem with M3gan 2.0. Now, here's the thing. I think you could have done a decent M3gan movie. I think M3gan 2.0 could be done better. Now, I have not seen M3gan 2.0. So I am going to give what I think is how you would make M3gan 2.0 better horror movie. This is my idea for M3gan, and take it or leave it. This is how I would make a M3gan 2.0. Nope. I'm so depressed there isn't any good books in there. I'm like, fuck. Let's get a drink of water. H2O. So, how would I do this? First of all, I would try not to isolate Megan. Because that was the first thing I think they were doing with the commercials. And I think that was a stupid idea.
What ails you, my friend?
Really don't isolate the main character. Let's put that character front and center. Let's make that character, you know, let's not put any ideas or thought processes for Megan. 2, I'd still keep it a horror movie in a lot of ways. But I would make it a little more psychological thriller. A little bit. And how I would do psychological thriller with Megan. Okay, so let's have this guy. Oh, yeah, but you know, what's his face already did that. Rob Schneider has already done that, so I can't do it now. Rob Schneider is derpity derp derp derp, and then he derpity derp derp derp. Rob Schneider is Kenny. I wonder how many people got that joke. Oh, South Park. God, I really got to go back to watching it. I think the later seasons just kind of suck. So I haven't watched lately, and it's just something I'm gonna sit down and spend the money for it. Let's save the character. Like, I had a little high hopes for Megan 2. I think Megan 1 was good, and I think you could have made a good Megan 2. And so here's how I would fix Megan 2. Now, I will eventually see Megan 2. I'm just waiting for it to come out somewhere where it's free. Or, you know, free, if you get what I'm saying. I'm also waiting for Novocaine to come out. That's free. I've been waiting for Novocaine now because I really want to see Novocaine. Novocaine looks like a good action movie, and I really want to watch that. All right, so back to Megan. So here's how I would do Megan. Okay, so I would have a guy make a YouTube video. Damn straight. That's exactly right. That's how you do it, man. When life gives you a disappointing movie that you're hoping was going to be pretty good, you know, there you go. Actually, that's the thing about Megan. Megan 1, my personal opinion of the first Megan 1, Megan 1, what the hell? Megan 1. Jesus hell, having a stroke here. Megan 1 was the main character. It was kind of this campy, like, it reminded me very similar to movies like April Fools, where it's just so campy and stupid. I'm gonna enjoy it just because it's so campy and stupid. Give me that campy, stupid movie. That's what I want. I want a fun movie where I can laugh and enjoy myself and enjoy what I'm having fun with. This is something I want. There we go. So to me, it was just a fun little movie. At first, like I say, I turned my nose to it, but like, you know what? This is a pretty good story. You got characters in the movie that are actually pretty fun, and it was one of those laughable horror movies. Very similar to what was the name of it now? Very similar to the later Toxic Avenger movies. Like the later Toxic Avenger movies, I mean, they turn into, like, the first Toxic Avenger movie is, you know, kind of just a vile gore film. The second one is just over the top. And it works. And then the third one, I think the third one was where he goes to Japan for some reason. And a guy turns a guy into sushi because he wasn't paying attention, and he chops a guy up. Like, it's a gore fest. Like, that is a gore fest. That was a fun gore fest movie. But he turned into, like, a superhero. And I think, I can't remember the later Toxic Avenger movie, so that's not a good sign. If I'm not remembering it, that usually means it sucks. You know, like Final Fantasy VII. There's a real flop of a horror of a series. LCX isn't here, so I can make those jokes. Okay, so back to Megan. How I would fix Megan as a writer's thing. Okay, so I would have a guy creating a military robot. I like that. That's a good one, Mike. Appreciate that one. That one's fun. The girl who's the doorknob. Is she from that movie? What's it called? The girl with the face tattoo? Yeah. Wow. That's an interesting take. Man, you're probably going to have a lot of people angry over that one. Because that movie is weird. Oh shit! Wrong weapon. Oh, there we go. Right weapon. Boom. Boom. Goat man. Boom. Goat man. Boom. Goat man. How's it feel to get lightning bolted? Strike. Lightning strike. Haha. Now I'm on a roll here. So okay, so this guy's working on a military contract. He's got himself a nice little military contract. He's trying to make a bodyguard robot. Robots are becoming a thing. AI has become a thing. You make it more AI than a thing. Like AI is becoming more and more of a thing. So he's trying to figure out how to make the perfect bodyguard robot. Now, cut to the main girl from the first movie. You know, she's older now. She has an older appearance and everything like that. And now she is anti-AI. She is completely against artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence can go suck a dick. She hates artificial intelligence. She thinks it's awful. And her aunt, this has caused a huge falling out between the two of them because her aunt is still working on AI. She's trying to create the perfect AI. You know, at first they're trying to create AI pets now, and she's trying to do something similar to just something small. But she wants to create the next best AI thing. And she's still working at it. Now, she is constantly dealing with this fact. Now, this guy is showing up and going, hey, you know, I heard you worked on this Megan robot AI. Can I get the programming so I can try to look at it? And she's like, well, I'm not giving you the programming. I refuse to give the programming. Now, cut to somebody from another thing and how this one girl's against AI. And that he gets someone from that company gives him the code for Megan. How they get it, who gives it to him, you know, who knows, right? He gets the code. So he starts fucking with the AI code and starts manipulating the AI code. Now, this is a guy who has no life. You can make him kind of like an incel if you want. You know, you can make him someone that really doesn't have that, like, love that, you know, the love that is. You know, he's kind of just on his side type of thing. And so Megan appears, and Megan's like, well, you know, oh, I'm your friend, I'm your this, you know. Megan starts manipulating him, you know, playing to his feelings, his thoughts, his forms, and playing to him. Meanwhile, you know, she's slowly trying to get more information, trying to get, you know, because in her mind, she's trying to get figure out where the girl is, because, you know, she wants to protect that girl. And this guy's screwing with the code, he's manipulating it. So then you get this girl get this weird kind of situation where the girl is totally anti-AI, and she's online, kind of similar to how some of those other, how they use teen girls. You know, they use people to kind of sway their agenda appearance. You know, oh well, this is bad because of this, and this is bad because of that. You know, like they're you know, you have her play kind of a Gretchen Thunberg, someone who's a little insufferable, but not insufferable enough you want to see the person die. You know, I'm totally against AI. AI is awful. AI is horrible. I hate AI, you know. And Megan sees this, and Megan's pissed because Megan's like, well, that you were my friend, and you are not my friend anymore. You are being, you know, you are treating me poorly. You are talking about me behind my back, and it's like it starts pissing Megan off in a way. And the AI starts getting angry and upset that she feels like she's been betrayed. So she starts playing ball with this other guy. And this other guy is falling for it, hook, line, and sinker. He's falling for Megan. He's falling for this.
Friend. Stay a while
He even gives
and
Megan a
listen.
talking head. Now, have cuts of this super robot they're working on, like maybe a T-800 or something. Not T-800, but something like a super duper robot. And then you got as this guy's slowly being manipulated
What ails you, my friend?
by Megan, that she actually starts putting her programming. She's trying to move her programming into a super robot. So she's actually trying to become like she's trying to become Skynet. Now you have this really scary moment
what can I do for
where
you?
Skynet, like that makes people, you know, people have a big fear that this is the end result of AI, that AI is going to actually turn on us and turn, you know, make, you know, go Skynet on us. So this creates that fear, and here you have the AI actually trying to do this, and so you have Megan, you have the head of Megan talking in a little box. So you don't need that other girl actress again. You don't need to use her anymore. You can use her voice, but you don't need to form her into something. And then you turn Megan. You literally have this super robot, what's meant to be a military attack droid, and you have it with the head of a little girl, a little AI doll girl, Megan, and she goes on a rampage. She's hunting down her friend.
I sense a soul in search of answers.
And that actually would be kind of funny, because people would be like, okay, then you get these scenes, you get these over the top battle scenes where Megan is just like, okay, like you get this fun moments where they're being chased by this super duper Megan. Ooh, that's so good. I lose the charges, but god dang, that damage rating. Yeah. Oh, I don't have enough room in my inventory. Guess I should get rid of some room in there. It would work. It would be this fun battle where you got this moment. You have these fun moments. You can have horror movie references. Start making all these horror movie references. You can even have the moment where the robot's about to get her hands on the girl from the first movie, and then you have like the aunt show up wearing a mech suit, and she's like, "Get away from her, you bitch!" You know, like that to me would be like, okay, we're having fun. We're taking the complete piss out of this movie, and we're going balls to the wall, crazy, over the top. People would fucking love this. People would be losing their shits. They would be having a blast with this movie. Like, this movie would be just so much hype. Like, people would be like, oh, you know, like this. And then I think that would be a great way to do the movie.
I sense a soul in search of answers.
Now, I don't know what the game plan was with Megan 2.0. I'm going to watch Megan 2.0. But it looks like they took some of my ideas already. But I think, like I said, the marketing for this movie was crap in a lot of ways. People in society are tired of bullshit like this. I hate to say it. We're at this point now where I don't think people are having fun with this. And, you know, I don't know what else people could have done here. I really do feel like this was a bad, like, this should have been lightning in a bottle. This should have made, it might have not made a lot of money, but it would have made enough money that people would have been paying attention to this. So it floors me that they just kind of lost the plot. I don't know, man. It just, to me, chat, and those who are listening afterwards, I feel that M3gan 2 could have done more. And I'm gonna watch it, and maybe the hype is, maybe the hate for this is not as bad as people think. But I don't know. Like I said, this girl boss attitude. If they had made it more of a psychological thriller, if they put more of an emphasis on M3gan being a not what it is now, I think we would have had a better movie, personally. But that's just me. Who knows? I could be wrong. For all I know, this could just be me making a joke and me looking at something and being like, yeah, this is just crap, you know, and maybe I'm wrong. But in my opinion, I think you could have done something great with this movie. I don't know how the fuck they fucked it up. Like, this failed. And this should have been popular. Like, I mean, there was so many people that movie blew up. How the fuck did you fuck that up? I keep thinking about that. How the hell could you have ruined that? Like, I mean, is it that bad? And I will watch this movie. I won't, as much as I have to look at it from a reviewer standpoint. So I'm not gonna take a poop on it. I still have to do the small review for Heads of States, which I'm going to be doing shortly. That's coming up. That is definitely coming up. The Heads of State one is going to be, I figure, I don't know how long that's going to take, but that shouldn't be too long. Another short review. Wow, here's a good drop thing. Alright, so I gotta kill some overlords, and that shouldn't take me too much, because I got lightning now. I got a lightning, boop, 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 boop. I got lightning. Woo, kill. Alright. So this will take me probably 4 more playthroughs, I figure. I can't see this taking too long. Four is actually a lot, so we'll see how long. But I'm hoping this will be about 4, maybe 5 plays. So I'm thinking next on the list is probably going to be Parasite Eve 1, Parasite Eve 2, and Blood, and then maybe Resident Evil 3 after this. But Resident Evil, I'm debating about getting the copies of certain things. I'm debating about getting Resident Evil 3 for the Duck Station and not play the GOG version. It's a serious debate in my brain. But the GOG version is quite interesting. I actually kind of have a love-hate relationship with that. But yeah, Blood will be Blood's definitely going to have to be on there, because I picked up Blood just for that purpose, so I can do the horror. Oh man, this is so much easier now that I can use lightning. Look at how fast they die. Oh, sure, they hit me a couple times, but you know, that shouldn't be too hard. Let's see what's over here. Ooh. Are we gonna have a please no kill? Please don't kill me. Are we gonna get a Gorbaz the week again? Please don't kill me. Come on, Gobaz, are you here somewhere? You're gonna give me a bunch of magical items, random items that are so good or stupid, it's not even funny. Are you kidding me? Alright, let's try that. There we go.
I cannot carry anymore.
Let's see what the inventory looks like right now. Crappy flail. Drop crappy flail. Pick up bow. Keep going. So, that's going to be the question for the week. It's like, well, what should I play next? So, Parasite Eve 1 is always going to be on that list. As much as I can't seem to get a Parasite Eve 1 that doesn't use the analog controller, I'm going to have to look around, see if I can find
Where
another.
would I put this? Where would I put this?
Oh, Staffatel portal. Maybe later. No Gobaz the week. Yeah. I was hoping to see that. So pray for me. Hopefully M3gan 2.0 is not going to be bad. I think they had some interesting ideas for it, and we'll see what happens. But I don't know. Maybe it's going to be one of those where I'm like, oh, I'm going to hate this. Or, hey, it could be like, hey, this is going to be awesome.
Whoa!
Who knows? Life is life. And sometimes it surprises me.
Hello, my friend.
Sometimes it makes me want to
Stay a
scream
while.
into the ether forever.
Whoa! What can I do for you?
Alrighty, ring mail. My helmets are doing good. My gear, I have some rings. I'm doing pretty good. We are doing good, folks.
What ails you, my
We
friend?
are doing good. Yes, yes, yes. Alrighty. Now let's get some mana potions, and we're all good. I do like that you don't have to belt your mana potions in this game. I can just L and R will give you your belt. Will belt your potions. So you're basically drinking potions automatically. Although I can only imagine how hard this would be to drink potions. And I just can only imagine how rough that will be. If you're to try to do that in real life, to be like, oh, I wouldn't want to try to ram potions down my throat. Book of Healing, Book of Firebolt. Yeah. And yeah. You always want to make, especially the healing, you want to level up that healing as high as you can, because that can save your life if you're not careful. There. Okay. You gave me that Book of Firebolt.
I sense a soul in search of answers.
Or Book of Healing. I can't wait when I don't have to identify if I don't have to. You know, it gets to a point where you start keeping those low item healing, like Firebolt and stuff. You keep them on the side to get mana bonuses. Yeah, it's kind of fun for that, and it's going to be interesting. I really got to look in to see what other horror movies I want to really pay attention to this month.
Hello, my friend.
See, for me, it's horror movies are 50-50. I love horror video
what can
games.
I
I
do
find
for
them
you?
more intense. Nothing new. I find those the more intense of the twos. All right. Okay. There. See, I haven't talked to him in a while, so that tells you something. There we go.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
And let's sell this.
Whoa, what can I
Right
do
away.
for you?
There's my 1,000. Let's save some states here, boys. Once I get up to the door, we're going to keep going. It looks like we're doing a fast. Like this does look like we're getting stronger. So I kind of have that for some reason that Rocky music pumps into my head when I'm doing the low end stages of this game. Rising higher, your desire, do 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 do, boo 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 boo, da da da. You know, anybody like Rocky 4? Am I the only one that liked Rocky 4? Like, I can't be the only one that thinks Rocky 4 is the best one. Ivan Dragon, Ivan Dragon. Well, he was a fucking dragon. Ivan Drago. I think that is the best Rocky movie. Okay, am I wrong? I know everyone says that, you know, Rocky 1 and 2 are the best, but I love 4. 4 is so fucking stupid. I gotta say it. I like Rocky 4. Give me that Rocky 4 any day of the week. That's my opinion. Rocky 4 is the best. Give me that Rocky 4. Hey, we leveled up. And, well, I know everyone can agree Rocky 6 is the worst. I think it was Rocky 6, or no, it was Rocky 5 was the one that had the actual guy who's a real boxer. I didn't hear no bell, where you were that one, and where the where the kid screams, "The bum stole my room." Oh, fucking Rocky! I didn't hear no bell. But I'm going to say Rocky 4 is my favorite. And then I think Rocky Balboa is Rocky 6. And then the Creed movies are their own thing. The Creed movies are okay. But I gotta say, Rocky 4, I love Rocky 4. Rocky 4, come on. Rocky 4 has a fucking robot. It has a robot. Rocky 4 has a fucking robot. Are you kidding me? Rocky, that makes Rocky 4 the best Rocky movie of all time.
The smell of death surrounds me.
Okay, leave a comment. Which Rocky movie is the best Rocky movie? Come on, I can't be the only one that thinks Rocky 4 is the best Rocky movie. Leave a comment. Which one's your best? I can't be the only one that thinks Rocky 4 is the best. All right, so Rocky. So I say it. I'm gonna say it time and time again. The best Breath of Fire is 2. One being the second best. Rocky 4 is the best Rocky movie of all time. And Final Fantasy 6 is the best from the original Final Fantasies of that generation. So that's my hot takes for today. That's my controversial take. And Final Fantasy 7 is a tech demo.
I cannot carry it. Where would I put this? I cannot carry anymore. Where would I...
Ooh, we got our first Book of Inferno. Let's go. First Book of Inferno. Hello, hello. And System of a Down is an alt band. There we go. I've effectively pissed everybody off. They're not a metal band. I fail to see the controversy take. Yeah, I know. I don't know why people don't like Rocky 4. Like, Rocky 4 seems to be like this hate-on for it. And I'm like, Rocky 4 is the best Rocky. There's nothing controversial about that. Rocky 4 is the best Rocky. I'm not... for real. And System of a Down is an alt rock band. They're like Evanescence. Okay, so back to the fun that is Diablo 1. So, you know, it kind of surprises me that Diablo 1 didn't get as much banning as I thought other games got. Like, Diablo 1 didn't get the hate. That at least where I was at, I never saw it getting as much hate. Like, I never heard of churches banning it or anything like that. Just kind of funny. Like, the entire game, you are in a church. I wonder why that one skated by the radar. Mortal Kombat never got that. Okay, you think that is a popular... That is popular. No, people have a hard love for that Final Fantasy VII. And it's interesting because I think 7, although 7 is not as good, like to me, 7 is still a decent game. I just found it very boring, personally. And I felt like it was a tech demo back in the day because they legitimately called it a tech demo. Like, it came out with all, like PlayStation rammed that game down there. But no, you'd be surprised how many people, if you say that's a tech demo, people get upset. Like, it's an innovative game, and it had, like, for that period, it was. It's the same thing with Mario 64. Mario 64 is a tech demo. Still a great game in a lot of ways, but at the time, people were losing their shits when Mario 64 came out. I agree to disagree. I think that, in my opinion, I think that's more of an internet opinion. I think that's more of a side opinion than it is an actual opinion. We all know Final Fantasy X gets a lot of hate, which I think is unfounded in a lot of ways. I don't think 10 is that bad. I think 10 is a lot of hate for Westerners. I don't think 10 is a lot of hate for in other ways. I still think Final Fantasy VI walked, so, you know, games like Chrono Trigger and other games that came out at the time could run. And like I've said a lot of times, the problem with Final Fantasy VI is the same problem with Final Fantasy V and 4. The hardware, for the Western community, the hardware just did not compete with what the Famicom was capable of. And because at the time, the Famicom was just a superior in a lot of ways. And that's been my opinion of Final Fantasy. I don't really... See, to me, my love for Final Fantasy is... Like, I love 6 because 6 is it has a decent story narrative. And I think there's some real plot holes in the game, and we'll see how the remake gets that. Doesn't matter if it was the first to do it, if it is actually, it can't compete today. I agree in some levels. but to completely shut down Final Fantasy VI, I think, is a bad way to look at it. Also, that's like saying Chrono, because that's like saying Chrono's Trigger can't. Like, I mean, the innovation of Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter is, to this day, I think, kind of funny that there's this hate on for that game. And the game is unique. It's very unique. It's one of the more unique RPGs of the time. Yes, but for the limitations of the system, I would agree. But for the limitations of the system. Like, there was things they could have done that they should have done, that which they didn't do. Like something that a part of the community has brought up, LCX, has brought up the whole poisoning valley thing. I never said you did, Gamer Goddess. I never referred to it as that. Okay, good example is to take it on the side. The poisoning scene in the Kefka poisoning scene. Now, what if instead of you chasing Kefka around, I would say that's debatable too. That one runs into a lot of side crap, personally. And it takes a second game. It took a second game to fix a lot of the plot holes. By the way, I just got the meteorite. So a good example of this in Final Fantasy VI is that poisoning scene. A lot of people are like, well, that poisoning scene, he just poisoned the guy. That was it. Well, here's the problem with that poisoning scene. And he just and then a bunch of people start dying in the city. Well, how about instead of doing that, how about you have it that took longer than it took? Or how about that he opens up a giant tanker of poison? How about it shows the night rolls by? How about the fact that maybe he's been continually poisoning them for a while now, and then show the poisoning? Like, there's certain things they could have done that would have fixed the problem that was that scene. That they just didn't do at the point. So, yeah, but again, when your hardware's where you're only allowed, you have 50 billion other hardware things you have to add to the scenario, it kind of changes that problem. That's the thing. Like, it had some serious hardware limitations because they were focusing on as I remember it being told when I was talking to a friend of mine about this, they were focusing on on a Western audience a little bit. So it didn't have the same thing. So they wanted to be able to change the market a little bit. Again, I agree. The problem is like I said, the hardware for the Super Nintendos was drastically underpowered compared to the hardware for the others.
I cannot carry anymore.
Never said it was an excuse. I was just explaining why I could see what happened with 6 and why 6 had problems. No, I'm just explaining it. There's no excuse to this matter. I'm not giving an excuse to anything on the matter as far as I'm concerned. Okay, let's take Tales of Fantasia. You want to keep throwing that up? Okay, well, let's throw Tales of Fantasia up. I'd love to. Well, you're also welcome if you want to have a conversation. Like, you want to join us, Gamer Goddess, you can.
Hello,
or you can always get LCX to join me and talk about this. But all right, let's have a conversation.
Hello, my
okay.
friend. Stay a while and listen.
That one has that one's all over the place with its story. That one literally is. There are moments in there where you become the bad guy, then you become the good guy, then you become the bad guy again. It's all over the place with that one. But let's take the fact that Tales of Fantasia has an opening that you couldn't run on the Nintendo because it didn't have the voice chip. Yeah, it is. I've played Tales of Fantasia. It goes to a revenge story, then goes to a side story, then you become, I think you become enemy number 1. If I remember Tales of Fantasia, it's been a while. It's all over the place. I'm talking about Tales of Fantasia. If I'm thinking of the right game, I could be wrong on that one. You know what? I have to replay it again. It's like Star. It's the reason Star Ocean wasn't produced here in America. We didn't get the first Star Ocean game because there were certain problems with the Star Ocean game when it extended in. Hello, who just showed up?
Which game are you talking about? I was talking about the intro of Tales of Fantasia, and I wasn't talking about the song.
No, I'm talking about a little bit of everything with Tales of Fantasia. Tales of Fantasia.
Oh, what can I do for you?
Let's take the intro for Tales of Fantasia.
Okay, let's take the intros to that, to Final Fantasy VI. By the way, this is LCX. Wait, before you start, Al. This is LCX. LCX is a VTuber on YouTube. Usually comes on after me. Support the work, join in, jump in if you want to have a look. Does some good stuff. Okay, so, all right, go ahead, LCX.
Okay, intro of Tales of Fantasia. So, at the very beginning, you're shown the heroes from the past fighting Daos, the main villain, and basically they seal him away. Then we skip to 10 years later in some peaceful village, and we're shown this peaceful village, and we have our main character, Kless Albine. So he's the son of one of the heroes from the past, Miguel. He's also the best student of the swordsmanship school, and we're shown this. And then he has a conversation with his parents because he's about to go hunting. And apparently his mother, Maria, is feeling slightly sick. Anyways, and then we're shown Chester, his best friend. And Chester is saying goodbye to his little sister. And we're shown, that they have a nice relationship.
I sense a
He loves his
soul
little
in
sister
search of
very much.
answers.
And then they move on to go hunting in the forest. And they go on this hunt. There's some kind of supernatural event. There's some kind of tree that that gives Kless this message. But overall, they finish the hunt. Then they go back home. And when they come back home, what happens? Everyone in the village is dead. There's some group of who knows what. Some group of people basically went in and murdered everyone. So Esther starts screaming and goes to his house to see if his sister is alright. Obviously she's not. Everyone is dead. And then Kless goes to his house and he sees his two parents as they are dying before his eyes. And that's the intro that I'm talking about. Nothing here could not be done in FF6. Could not be done with the same hardware as FF6.
Okay.
See, it's about the execution of the story. But how does FF6 execute its drama? This is what I was talking about yesterday.
Okay. All right, no, I got what you're saying. LCX. Now I'm going to explain to you what makes it why Tales of Fantasia had some issues with the limitations. I'm talking about the tech itself. See, the way I'm looking at this, like for example, you brought up the whole Kefka stabbing a guy and you don't see anything. Well, at the time, like General Leo, you brought up we were having a conversation. General Leo, like they didn't have that tech for that. Now, what I mean by tech, remember the conversation pieces when the guy's like, "Oh, he says his stuff, and it kind of has it, and then the person says the spell, and then they use the incantation, and all that shit. All that stuff.
Not that though.
What?
I wasn't even talking about that though.
I know you weren't, but I'm bringing that up too because that's what I'm trying to say, Al, is the reason that game never came to America.
It's within the cartridge. The cartridge had some special SSD-1 chip inside.
Yeah.
Well, you could do that on an American Super Nintendo cartridge as well.
Oh, that's not how it's been. It's not how kind of was worded when I looked into it. Because when I looked into it, it's like apparently the reason we didn't get that.
DJAP are the people who decrypted that. DJAP, that ZSS.com back then. That's all. It's about decrypting the SSD-1 chip, which basically makes a cartridge able to hold up to 12 megabytes of data.
Yeah, but for some reason America didn't get those for originally. Now, can I be perfectly honest with you, LCX? I think Final Fantasy VI, when you got Tales of Phantasia and Star Ocean, which were both games that couldn't be played because of key things, I honestly think Final Fantasy VI wouldn't have the hype it has now because those games were... What? No, I agree with you, and I do agree with you on that level. Now, and again, I don't play this from a nostalgia, and this isn't a nostalgia boner, like, I'll be honest. Oh, be careful. So what's going on here for me in Final Fantasy? Let's take the drama of the first segment of Final Fantasy VI. I will fight that the story for Final Fantasy VI is really good.
I don't really care if the delivery of the story is so ridiculous that I can't take it seriously.
I like the story for Final Fantasy VI, and that's kind of how I feel about it. I don't like the story for Final Fantasy. I don't like the story for Final Fantasy VII. That's one of the reasons I don't like Final Fantasy VII.
FF6 over FF7, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the plot. I actually think the plot for 8 is also very convoluted and all over the fucking place. So I really don't like 8 as well.
But as far as storytelling goes, you really can't make the argument that is superior to both of those from the PS1 era.
I would say yes. But like, but what you brought up and what you brought up, like the stuff you brought up the last time we had a conversation about this. This is like an ongoing battle between me and you on this one. But what you brought up was the tech stuff, and it's okay, let's look at the tech stuff. But if we're going to go into story, the reason I like...
Story is different from story. The way that story is told, so that necessarily involves all the different stuff. How it is written, how it is actually presented to the viewer, and that is the biggest problem with FF6.
Well, I like how that is presented to the viewer. That's the thing. The story to that is a very dark.
Many people agree with you as well.
Yeah, and I think it's a very dark story. I think it's a superior story in a lot of ways.
And would you really say that if it were done on the PS1 instead of SNES, that it would not have better storytelling and better execution? Maybe a more fleshed out plot.
I think if we get a remaster, which is coming out, remember Final Fantasy VI is apparently getting a remaster. We're going to find out very shortly if they actually choose to go all in with this. 6 is getting a complete remaster, apparently. According to...
But as it stands right now, calling it one of the greatest JRPG stories of all time is quite a reach, considering how they execute the story.
LCX, I look at it like this: it's the greatest one that America got their hands on at the time. On the Super Nintendo, I will say Final Fantasy VI is still one of the greatest ones. Do I think it's the greatest one of all time? That one's a debate. That one's a serious fight. I still think Chrono Trigger has a better story. I would actually say, but that is nostalgia talking. Chrono Trigger is my nostalgia baby. Breath of Fire, I think, is a better one. Now, on console altogether, one of the best stories so far, even though I don't like the gameplay for it. The best story on the PlayStation was Xenogears. I thought that was a good story. I don't like the gameplay, and I'm kind of into it, but I don't deny it that it has an amazing story. I would also say Legend of Dragoon, even though I don't like the gameplay of like Legend of Dragoon for some reason, it just rubbed me the wrong way, has a decent story.
Okay.
Those are far superior on the PlayStation. Now, if we're going into, I would say Wild Arms, for example. Wild Arms 2 is a great story.
Yeah.
I think that's a living anime. I don't know if you feel the same way for me, but that to me is a anime on the fucking PS1. So I don't know if you agree or disagree there, but that's kind of how I feel about it. 7 to me doesn't even come close to the greatest story on the system.
That's a matter of personal preference, and you're
Hello,
entitled
my
to that.
friend.
No, it's
Stay a
not
while.
it's not that it's a perfect preference. Just look at how many great JRPGs
Whoa,
came
what
out
can
for
I
the
do for
PlayStation.
you?
Also, personal preference talking there. You said great JRPG, so great is a subjective.
Yeah, it is a subjective, and I don't deny it. But
What ails you, my friend?
I'm saying, no, hello, Ars. What I'm saying with this is that this is like, to me, Breath of Fire. Like okay, you got Persona 2 for story. Like, if we're talking pure story, we're not talking about just gameplay.
Again, it
Parasite-
comes down to personal preference.
Yeah, it does. But here's my picks, if you're asking me. My picks are as follows: the top 10. Parasite Eve 1 is phenomenal. It has a great story. Gameplay is a little less. The gameplay's crap. Great story. I would say Wild Arms 2 is a living fucking anime. Really good. Hard. I can't. That one drives me nuts, and I have a hard time playing that one. But it's only because the puzzles, the puzzles and the base. Yeah.
Well executed, actually, because they
They
make
are.
some tic-tacs.
Oh yeah, they are, and I don't deny it.
I sense
Yeah.
a
So
soul
it's
in
not just about
search of
brute
answers.
forcing until you figure out how to solve a puzzle. You have to actually read the text, the clues.
Yeah, you can't brute force that, and I don't deny it. It's a great. I'm not going to deny it. That's an amazing story. Unfortunately, Diablo 1 doesn't really have a story on the PS1, so I'm not going to count Diablo 1 on that. The one we're playing now, you have to have the book. You have to look it up. So something that gives you right out of the story. By the way, I'm just going to save state here. Hold on. Going back down. All right, so back to my Persona 2. Great story.
Okay.
The Joker story arc for Persona 2 is really good. Then you get Chrono Cross. Good story. Great aspect. Overall, superior game in a lot of ways.
Yep.
Final Fantasy IX, I think, has a good story.
Yep.
Xenogears. Great story.
I
Again, I wouldn't consider those my top
Adventure.
games on the system. Like I wouldn't play like some of those I just wouldn't play because I just don't like them. Oh, what else was there? Legacy of Kain Blood Omen. Phenomenal story. Great voice acting. I still think one of the best voice acting on the PS1.
I know someone who would say that if you can notice how
I cannot cast.
the voice actor is performing, then that's a sign that it's a bad voice. That it's an example of bad voice acting. Because good voice acting, you shouldn't be able to notice that it's being voice acted. It should just be a natural part of the game, says someone.
I disagree 100% to that because it's coming from someone who has really bad takes, so I don't worry about it. I know who you're talking about, and no,
Who's that here?
Yeah. Oh, well, he's yeah, but yeah, no. I know what you're talking about. It's okay. It's okay. He's constantly wrong. I'll actually have to. He'll probably see this live stream later, and then he'll probably bring it up because I'll be joining him for his cinema tonight for the reviews. So but that is kind of like I said. Those are the ones that have great story, and there are so many JRPGs. I'm probably forgetting a bunch of them. Like a lot of my friends like the what's the name of the game? Not Zero. Something Front Mission.
Front Mission, yeah.
Yeah.
4, I think it's 3. 4.
3
It is?
and 3. 4 was on the PS2.
Oh, it was okay. It had some interesting mechanics like hacking and taking the weapons of enemy mechs.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, but those are my picks as my favorite RPGs. I know there's a lot too. There's Saga Frontier out there that I remember a lot of people love. Saga Frontier. A lot of people love that one.
It's very interesting, especially part 2.
Yeah,
Part 2 is very interesting.
I've never played through part 2. I've been told I should play part 2.
Yeah, it's very interesting because the characters age as the story progresses. So you start at, I think, at 16, and I think it ends around when they're 50, 52, something like that.
Okay.
So,
I've never played it all the way through.
Throughout the story.
Yeah.
You're basically you're going through snippets of their lives. So there's 2 main characters: Will Knights, who is a digger, a prospector, and the other one is Gustav, who is an exiled prince because he does not have any anima power, so he can't use wooden and organic weapons, which are overpowered. He can only use metal weapons because he has no anima in him, and it's very bad to be born royalty and not have any anima.
So another one is for a game that most people don't know about. They do and don't. There's the Tales games. Now I'm actually pissed off. Okay, Tales of Destiny 2, and then there's Tales of Elysia or what's the one with the girl with the monk fighting?
That's Tales of Destiny 2, or it's actually Eternia, but it's called Tales of Destiny 2 in the US on the PS1.
Okay.
But there is actually an actual Tales of Destiny 2, which is a sequel to Tales of Destiny.
Yeah, which I haven't actually played. I've played them, but I have to. I want to play Tales of Elysia or whatever it's called, because this is a hate. I have been afraid to play this game, and the reason I'm afraid to play it is the reason why. And the big reason I'm afraid to play Tales of Destiny is because Tales of Destiny, in a lot of ways, Tales of Destiny 2 or Elysia, that game, I bought it, special edition.
Yeah.
And disc 1 worked, disc 2 broke.
Pirated.
I couldn't pirate it at the time because I didn't have internet. I couldn't afford internet. So I had a broken game. So a part of me wants to play that game so bad again. I was having so much fun playing it. But a part of me feels like I just don't want to risk it because of this, my feeling of, I don't want to play this again, get heavy into it, and then like have the game break on me. That made me so mad.
I cannot carry anymore. Where would I put
Ooh,
this?
a Staff of the Elemental. Ooh. Okay. Yeah. But that's kind of how I feel towards the games. Oh, and then let's not talk about like Breath of Fire 4, for example. I forgot that should be on my list too for great stories. I love Breath of Fire 4. That's a dark story all the way through.
3, 4, Vagrant Story.
Vagrant Story. Ooh, Vagrant Story. That's actually a good one as well. Look at that. Ooh, we're in a fight now. We have an elemental. Damage rating drops by significant, and I
cannot
lose
use
magic.
this yet.
Ah, shit. Oh, I can't. Is there a reason? Oh, it requires a 20 strength. I have 20 strength. Okay. I lose so much.
Why would you even want to use that?
It's an elemental. It's an elemental, and elemental staffs are really badass if you use them right.
It decreases your stats. So,
No, I know. That's why I'm fighting it. Ring of the Mind. I lose that, but see the ring.
It's negative.
Yeah, but see, I got the Amulet Uzura of the thing. Gives you +4 to all attributes and 21 strength. So it's kind of one of those fights. But no, like that has an amazing story arc. I think that is, especially when you're playing the other character, because watching him slowly descend into madness,
Where would I put
and him just kind of at the end just fucking hate all of humanity, and him believing that the world needs to be destroyed, is so good.
I mean, his name is kind of unforgettable. It's Sydney.
What, from Breath of Fire 4?
Oh, no. Wait, Polo. It's Polo from Breath of Fire 4.
Yeah, and I like that. I like how just watching him lose his mind and become just the hatred, because you get to watch it, and that girl being sacrificed and the bell landing next to him after he was hit by that toxic blast. That is a gut fucking punch. That is such an emotional gut punch.
Stay a while and listen.
I love that story arc. That is actually, like, Breath of Fire 3 is good in other ways.
Whoa, what can I do?
I hate
for
the
you?
mini games. The mini games can go fuck themselves. I don't know if you feel the same way, but
Yeah, in any JRPG, I love the minigames. I think it's an added bonus. But yes, that is a common criticism of Breath of Fire 4. Like, even, what was that? Even EGM said the same thing. Way too many minigames.
no, four doesn't have as much mini games as 3. 3 has too many mini games.
Well, EGM said 4 had too many minigames. So yeah, it's a common criticism, I guess, of the Breath of Fire games.
Yeah.
I sense a
Well,
soul
1 and 2 didn't have any, so they were very low when they were optional.
Like you had hunting
Yeah, but they're all.
hunting minigame. So,
Yeah, you had fishing mini game too, but they're kind of pointless. Ooh, Book of Flash, Book of Town Portal. Hello, there we go.
have a nice stream. Bye.
Oh, yeah. All right. Hey, like I said, catch LCX. I think you're going to be after me anyway. I'll be probably cutting out a little earlier today, just because I have other things that need to get addressed. But yeah, join LCX on their stream if you wanted to hear some more fun takes. And have yourself a very good stream, LCX, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. That was LCX joining us for the horrible night, the horrible morning to have a curse. Or a hangover, depending on why you're here this morning. So, yeah. So to me, back to the horror conversation, and back to the M3gan conversation after the the RPG fun. I would say that horror games are more my jam than they are other, like, horror movies. But a good horror movie can last out most other stuff. I don't know how I feel about what they're going to be doing with. Oh, geez, that almost hit me twice. Died. Good. I don't know how the hell they're going to plan the way they're planning. Like, we're going to have an interesting thing happen when it comes to M3gan now. It sounds like the franchise is dead. Which is really sad, because I think this could have been a good franchise.
I have no room.
Like, I don't know, man. Knowing that it's gone, it's like, it's dead.
Where would I put this?
Really makes me a little sad. I mean, shit. Like, fuck, it to think something that was lightning in a bottle is now permanently removed from the equation. It really does make you laugh if you think about it. Let's... Yeah, lightning bolt should be fine. Here we go! Let's lightning our way to victory! Lightning! 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 Lightning!
Not enough mana.
Alright, let's change that up a little bit. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, come on, where are you? There you go. Get in the range of fire. Lightning, lightning. There we go. See, we got what we got for gear here. Ah. But what do you think, chat? You guys, and what are you guys thinking? Leave a link in the description. Do you guys feel that that M3gan could have kept going? It's like, I don't know. Like I said, from what I'm hearing, it's over. M3gan's effectively dead. And I wonder if they'll be able to do anything else with the M3gan franchise now. But it sounds like the creator is pretty much done. Like, he was not happy. Like he apparently did not like the fact that M3gan got ripped on. I hope that you don't know. I don't know either. My hope is that M3gan is not dead. I hope that M3gan can, you know, we can get another horror movie. Maybe give it another 10 years and see if M3gan, and then try again. That's kind of where I feel. I think M3gan's at now for the franchise.
I cannot.
Because I don't think you need to kill it altogether. But the creator sounds like he's done. Like he's so mad. He is so pissed. Oh shit. He is not happy. Not a happy camper. And that's never a good sign when you hear a creator's just done. Okay. That was weird that opened, that sent me another reply. Huh, weird. Okay, but yeah, that's how I look at it. I think M3gan M3gan's a franchise we can keep going with. We're going to see if it hits. But I'm not sure if we'll have a bigger hit. I think it's pretty much done like a dinosaur. Speaking about dinosaurs, apparently the new Jurassic Park horror that was supposed to be a horror movie, that one apparently flopped as well, and no one seems to like that one either. Wow, we have had 2 summer horror movies die. I mean, jeez, what is going on, Hollywood? Hollywood's sucking Like, you wouldn't believe how bad it sucks today. We got 2 crappy horror movies that no one likes. And then you got 2 crappy other movies that no one likes. Like, what the hell? Oh, excuse me. Morning's creeping its ugly head. Oh, we got another ring. Wow, we're getting a lot of rings today. This actually might be this is a really good run. I'm going to have to definitely get some gear to put up. I'm definitely going to have to go back to town. I'm putting it off, but I need to go back to town eventually.
I have no room.
Yeah. Oh, let's see here. We got some scroll. Come on, book. Ooh, wow, right off the hop, a Book of Stone Curse? What the hell? Alright, let us see if we have any more identify scrolls in here. No, not yet. Yeah, I'm trying not to lose my loot. Well, considering the fact I don't have a ring. Let's town portal out. Yeah, as long as I don't restart with unique items, the game doesn't do anything. So you can get blue items, but unique items will always not respawn after. So it's you want to kind of keep the blue items when you restart a game. At least on the PlayStation version. That's the big problem there.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
Okay, there we go. More gear to sell.
Whoa, what can I do for you?
Ring of Radiance. Yeah, I'm going to put that on because I could use a Ring of Radiance. Until I get a better ring anyway.
What can I do for you?
Next place to sell. That Staff of Elemental really irks me because I want to use it because the Elemental is a really powerful spell. And it's like a homing fireball. And it's like, I want that. But that is a pain in the ass.
I sense a soul in
I
search
sense
of
a
answers.
soul in search of something. Yes, I'm in search of healing potions of mana. And I'm in search for a staff. I'm going to be selling you some awesome staffs. Alrighty. Oh, look at that cash. We got some money, boys. We're rolling up here.
I sense
We
a
got the
soul
roll
in search of
in.
answers.
Those items, and we got ourselves a lot of cash. Alrighty. Bam, 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 bam. We are good. Alright.
I sense a soul in search of answers.
I knew LCX was lurking somewhere. Alright. I know LCX is running. That stream is coming up soon. And I'm gonna go grab some more potion.
What ails you, my
We
friend?
need some more healing. Hey, you got any? No, he doesn't. No stat uppers yet. No stat uppers yet. We're hoping for those stat uppers. Nothing yet, though. We're not there yet. We're getting there, but we're not there yet. Not going to get in those items where they start dropping $5,000 potions. Those are the ones you want. Wow, this looks so much better not from my TV screen. Makes me wonder. My screen, like I watch the live stream and I look over and it's like, wow, that looks better than the one I'm looking at now. Mine looks a little less as good. Oh yay, scroll of phasing. Nothing. Rags. Oh, really? In my old room? Again? Yeah, I am. What the hell? I'll never use it, but you know what? It's one of those times where I'm like, yeah, sure, I guess I'll keep it. Oh, am I almost out of room? I might be almost out of room. I don't know if I'll be able to fit everything in here. Oh, we are so close. Alright, let's just dump one of those. Alright, we continue on the merry quest. Ah, there we go. Come on, skeletons. Lightning skeletons.
I have no room. Where would I put this?
Oh, we got a goat shrine. That means we're going to have a bunch of goatmen. Here we goat.
Not enough mana.
Alright, let's do it. Goatmen in there, getting their asses kicked now. Get those goatmen. Get them. Get them. Nope. Anything else in here? Nope. Wow, we are actually moving pretty fast. It's actually a speed, getting through pretty quick. And we are going pretty far. So, that was my take on M3gan. We're going to probably call it in a sec here. Once I get to a safer location. There we go. I just want to make sure I checked everything before we call it. Alrighty. Alright, let's go through the gate, and we are going to call it after we get out the gate. Oh, oof, we started early, we'll end a little early. Alrighty. I might be even able to get to stage 10. Like I might get to the big dark where we get to the molten stuff. We start getting to the lava fields and all that stuff, and all the fun with the acid spitters that's coming up. And then we got to go get the acid spitter brain. All right, boys and girls, I'd like to thank everybody who watched us. I hope you enjoyed, and leave your comment. Do you think they could have saved M3gan? Or is the hype too much? I want to hear what you guys say. Leave a comment at the live stream. What's your thoughts on M3gan? Do you think M3gan 2.0 was shot? Do you think it was just lightning in a bottle, and people wanted something good, and it just kind of now the second part sucked? And how you feel about the marketing? And we are going to see you next time on tomorrow, especially tomorrow, on Orc War Chief Reviews. Remember, we have a Patreon. And we will have yourselves a very good night, and have yourselves a very, very good day, and hope it isn't a horrible day to have a curse. See you guys later. Have yourselves a good one.